Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Tony Barterome, and I am the acting president of the Board of Directors of the Manatee Community Foundation. I'd like to welcome all of you to the 9th Annual Spirit of Manatee Awards. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask for a brief moment of silence for each of us to offer thanks, not only for the wonderful generosity of those we honor today, but thanks for this meal and the many blessings we have received. While you commence dining, I'd like to ask a question. One question, rhetorical as it may be. Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if the people that helped you along the way did not reach out to you? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like had you not felt their influence? It's an interesting question, and I thought about it, and I'd like to relay a personal story, if I may. I had a very blessed childhood, very, very loving parents who, thank God, are still with us today. And I wanted for nothing, and I was given every opportunity to take the course of my life in the direction I wanted to go. And when I chose law school, I was very supported by my parents, but there was a very special family friend who also supported that endeavor. And he offered and insisted to pay for the expense of my law books. And I reflect on that, and I realized that at the time, I probably didn't understand the significance of that gesture, the generosity of the law books. Somewhat later, I realized quite painfully I probably should have read those books, but that's not the point. The point is that it was a gesture, an act of kindness, an individual attempt to help me make my life better and help me move my life in the direction that I wanted it to go. Today we are able to celebrate and thank some very remarkable individuals who have made this a better community. Giving individually, bringing people together, and leading philanthropically. These honorees have set a high bar, and we thank them. I am privileged to see these same virtues in the mission of the Manatee Community Foundation. We have donors who give individually to charitable causes that they support. Most recently, Ray and Sarah Baden, late last year, made, at the end of the year, quite a joyous occasion for 10 nonprofit organizations by supporting each one with a $10,000 grant. Truly generous. We have donors who work together, pooling their resources. Several MCF donors combined their funding to provide a $30,000 grant to the food bank of Manatee County. This kicked off the community's response to the grand challenge in an effort to restock the empty shelves at the food bank, and those shelves were restocked. MCF donors pooled their resources to provide a $150,000 challenge to help fundraising for the Manatee Performing Arts Center. And now MCF is sponsoring giving circles all across Manatee County, from Anna Maria Island to Lakewood Ranch. In these self-directed circles, members combine their resources to award grants to support programs and projects that have meaning to the circle members. Our donors are working together to build a better community. Our donors are working individually to build a better community. I believe the person sitting to your right is working to build a better community. If there's no one sitting to your right, it'd be the person to your left. Finally, I would be remiss if I did not thank our founders, who created the Manatee Community Foundation 15 years ago, and our donors, who have built the assets of the Manatee Community Foundation that now stand over $32 million. And amazingly, while growing to $32 million, the Manatee Community Foundation has distributed close to $9 million in grants and scholarships back into the community. Thank you. I am honored today by your support of today's Spirit Awards. I'm grateful to our donors and humbled by our honorees. Thanks to all of you, we have a better community. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Executive Director, Marilyn Howard.
Thank you, Tony. Well, it's sure fun to be here for our 9th year. We have a new location. I think it looks great, and I think we're going to have a wonderful Spirit Awards today. You know, the leadership of the Manatee Community Foundation is well represented here today, and I'd like to thank them for their commitment to building philanthropy in Manatee County. I would like to interrupt their salad, and if the Board of Directors of the Manatee Community Foundation, the Advisory Council members, and also our Lakewood Ranch Community Fund Advisory Board members, if you would stand and be recognized. I'd also like to recognize 2 special friends representing our partner foundation, the Community Foundation of Sarasota County. If you'd please stand. Chief Financial Officer Laura Spencer and Janet Ginn, Senior Vice President of Development and Donor Relations. Thanks for coming. We have another special guest here today, Sally Tibbetts, who is representing Vern Buchanan's office. Sally, if you're out there, would you wave? You know, putting on this event is more than a one-person job, and we have a great group of people who help us every year. We'd like to acknowledge them, and first I'd like to acknowledge our selection committee for the Spirit of Manatee Awards, Judy Sedgman, Neil Spiritus, and Jerry Kunst. Thank you. Next, I'd like to thank our steering committee. Our steering committee was Elena Casella, Angela Moore, Dee Dee Hager, Kristen Thyssen, and special kudos to our own Joan McCaw. We could not do it without Joan. We had a couple of folks that were not in the picture, and I do want to thank them, Caroline Tanner, Leah Brown, and Ashley Brown. And I'd also like to thank Ashley and the Women's Resource Center for the wonderful pre-event reception that they've hosted every year. Thank you, Ashley and Women's Resource Center. Our glass artist, Darlene Johnson, is here with us this afternoon. This is the 5th year that Darlene has created our Spirit Award. It is beautiful. Each year, I think they can't get any more beautiful, and they get more beautiful each year. So thank you, Darlene, for this wonderful award. And finally, I'd like to thank our sponsors of the Spirit of Manatee Awards Luncheon. Our premier sponsor for 9 continuous years has been the Bassett Vita Vining Herman Group at Morgan Stanley. Thank you. I'd like to thank our patron sponsors. They are Moat Marine Lab, Feld Entertainment, and USF Sarasota Manatee. Thank you all. Our media sponsors are the Bradenton Herald, Bright House Networks, and METV. And we also appreciate the support of all of our table and co-table sponsors. All of you out there, thank you so much for supporting today's event. So, wrapping up quickly, I'm trying, just a reminder about the calendar at your table. For those of you that are new, this is not a CD of the event. This is a calendar. So when you take it back, you open it up like a CD, and you will have all the months of the year that you can keep yourself on track with. Also, what everybody waits for at this event is the centerpieces. So the centerpieces on your table were arranged again for the 9th year in a row by the Manatee River Garden Club with flowers donated by the Preston Family's Manatee Fruit Company and Cortez Floral. One lucky person at each table will be taking the centerpiece home. So this year, look inside your program booklet. One person has a red dot on the inside back cover. If that person is you, you get to take the centerpiece home and enjoy it. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dave Bassett of the Bassett Vita Vining and Herman Group at Morgan Stanley, our premier sponsor. I'm not going to yield the podium quite this minute to Dave. I want to take a moment to tell a little story. You know, this is our 9th year, but 9 years ago, this event was just in our imagination. We wanted to do something special for all of the folks in Manatee County who do so much philanthropically for our community. And there are other award celebrations, but there wasn't anything just for Manatee County. So a group of us that are in the nonprofit world got together and said, we need to do our own event. And then we looked around out in the community and we reached out, because you can't do an event like this without a major sponsor to underwrite the expenses. So who did we find out in the community that was willing actually to take a leap of faith, sponsor an event that had never existed before? And it was Dave Bassett and his Bassett Vita Vining Group at Morgan Stanley. They became our first and has been our only premier sponsor for 9 years. They've given us $10,000 in sponsorship every year for this event. And I'd like to thank Dave. He's very fond of saying, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And I have to say to Dave, he sure stepped up to the plate and said, it's up to me, and sponsored this event. So Dave, for you and the entire Bassett Vita Vining Herman team at Morgan Stanley, I want to thank you for your 9 years of support, and we want to present you with your own Spirit Sponsorship Award.
Marilyn, thank you very much for that award. I'm kind of humbled by it. I wanted to thank you once again for the honor and privilege on behalf of Morgan Stanley and the Vita Vining, Herman, and Denton Group. Ryan, it's about time you got the recognition for which you so richly deserve. For those of you who don't know, I recently retired from Morgan Stanley, so this will probably be the last time I come up and welcome you. And I want to thank the Vita Vining, Herman, and Denton Group for asking me to do that and allowing me the privilege. You're here because you care. You sitting at these tables are the heart and soul of Manatee County. You're also here, however, to honor those who led the charge, those whose actions have become a beacon for all of us to follow in our actions going forward. So I ask you to sit back, relax, and join me in gathering inspiration by celebrating the accomplishments of those who have done so in such an outstanding way. Thank you again for coming. Enjoy your lunch.
My name is Ed Childs. I have the privilege of being a member of the Advisory Council of the Manatee Community Foundation, and I'm your host for the awards portion of our program this afternoon. I want to do just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started here. One of you is missing your cell phone. And when you discover that that cell phone is missing, hopefully before you leave this building today, you'll be checking at the reception desk where the check-in was, and they have it for you. So your life will go on as in good fashion. Before we get started, I want to welcome back several of our previous year's honorees. I would ask that the honorees stand when their name is called, and I would ask the audience to hold your applause until all the honorees are standing, and then recognize them at that time. Lifetime Spirit Award winners: Stuart Gregory, Bob Blaylock, Chuck and Jan Entwistle. Leadership Spirit awardees: Paul Henley and Ursula Heitman, Jamie Carter and Vernon Desir. Volunteer Spirit awardees: Trudy Moon, Ed and Joanne Dick, Debbie and Steve Tapp, Pat Glass, Marianne and John Moyer, and John Vita. Community Spirit awardees: the Pittsburgh Pirates Organization, Manatee Memorial Hospital Foundation, the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton, the Bradenton Herald, and Bright House Networks. And last, the Special Collaborative Spirit honoree, Charles Clapsaddle. Please give him a round of applause. Last year at this time, I had the distinct honor of presenting the Volunteer Spirit Award to Jane Evers. Sadly, Jane passed away on New Year's Eve of 2013. But she's left behind a legacy of her efforts to feed hungry children in Bradenton through the organization she founded, Feeding Empty Little Tummies, as well as a lifetime of civic service to her community, as well as professional service. Jane's volunteer spirit will live on through those that carry on her work, and we thank them and we thank her family. The Young Spirit Award is presented to a young person, group, or organization under the age of 21 who has demonstrated an exceptional commitment to the charitable community by direct financial support, who has contributed time and energy to a fundraising effort, and who, by example, has encouraged and motivated others, young and old, to make contributions to a charitable cause in the Manatee community. Our Young Spirit honoree is nominated by St. Joseph Catholic School. Let's see what they have to say.
April Vita has been involved in community service most of her young life, which is not surprising if you've ever met her mom and dad, John and Tompi. Service to others runs in the family. However, it was April's individual accomplishments and efforts to help others that inspired her nomination for the 2014 Young Spirit Award. It all started with spaghetti. Though I've known April since kindergarten, I had no idea what was going on in the head of this little firecracker in her plaid jumper and braids, until I received an invitation from her to dinner. This dinner was to take place at her home. Spaghetti would be served, and tickets were to be purchased in advance. No offense to April, but my first thought was, do John and Tompi know that their 11-year-old daughter is A, cooking spaghetti, and B, selling it to their friends and neighbors? Luckily, Tompi was kind enough to explain to me that April was organizing a fundraiser for Ronald McDonald Charities. April had already gotten all the food donated for the affair, recruited volunteers and sponsors, and was selling tickets to the event. Her spaghetti dinner event was a huge success. She raised over $1,000, was invited to present the funds to the director of the house, and was recognized regionally for her efforts. Not bad for a fifth grader. Over the years, April has taken on significant leadership roles in the volunteer community by working with the United Way, Goodwill Industries, Adopt a Family, the the YMCA, and other organizations. April is a founding member and current president of the St. Joseph Catholic School Kiwanis Builders Club. As president, she has spearheaded projects with Minnesota Operation Troop Support and Kids Against Hunger. Chairing the Penny War competition, April helped raise over $1,000 to support the school. As an 8th grader, April has already accomplished multitudes of good works in Manatee County and beyond. She is a shining star at her school. And though it's been a long time since plaid jumpers and braids, there's no doubt that April will always be a firecracker, burning with a passion for service, lighting the fuse in others, causing an explosion of enthusiasm for the beautiful light of philanthropy.
It's my pleasure to present to you the winner of the Young Spirit Award, April Vita.
I am honored and humbled to be chosen as the Manatee Community Foundation's Young Spirit Award recipient. It has never occurred to me that having fun and helping out would get me any recognition. I am truly grateful. To me, there are 3 very simple but very important qualities a leader must have: service to others, sacrifice of self, and faith in good. Service to others is a lot of fun. We all know that it gives you a good feeling inside, but maybe by serving others, we set an example to those that we serve. Maybe it sets an example for our friends and family to be a servant. Just maybe it can start a feeling in others that doing good is, well, good. Sacrifice of self sounds more difficult. This is more difficult because we think we have to give our time, talent, and treasure to others. But just imagine if everyone just helped a little. What if everyone gave a hand up? What if everyone mentored just one person in need? We have all needed help at one time or another. Aren't we glad that someone took the time to help us? Finally, we must have faith in good. To me, this starts with my faith in God. I believe God plays a big part in our lives. He calls us to be the salt of the earth, the flavor of our day, and the rock to what we believe in. We can all have faith, we can all believe in good, and we can all be positive. So maybe if we can all think about these 3 simple things a little more often, we can all be leaders. Some people say that my generation will have it more difficult, that we lack leadership and drive. I ask you to think about your childhood. Do you have a mentor to shape your life? I bet you did. Have you been a mentor and helped to shape the life of a young spirit? I challenge you to reach out and be that leader. In closing, I would like to thank my principal, Ms. Potter, for her leadership at St. Joseph Catholic School. Through the support of my St. Joseph family, I think we are all well on our way to building the leaders and shaping the future. Thank you.
Great to see a legacy of community service. The Community Spirit Award is next. This is an award that's presented to a grant-making foundation, corporation, business, or service organization demonstrating outstanding commitment to the charitable community through direct financial support and through its leadership and motivation of others to participate and advance philanthropy in Manatee County. This year we have 2 Community Spirit honorees. Our Community Spirit Service honoree is nominated by the Boys and Girls Club of Manatee. Let's see what they have to say.
Hi, I'm Mark DeSone, the CEO for Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County. We help young people succeed, especially those who need us the most. The Rotary Club of Bradenton is one of our valued partners, and we are honored to nominate them for the Community Spirit Award. Now, here to tell you more about our partnership is Beth Work, our Vice President of Operations and a Rotarian.
As a fellow Rotarian, I stand in awe of the Rotary Club of Bradenton's Rotarians Against Hunger campaign. In one busy day in the Boys and Girls Club gymnasium, Rotary volunteers, Boys and Girls Club staff and club members, and other community members packed 52,000 emergency meals in partnership with Our Daily Bread for distribution in our community. Most recently, the Rotary Club of Bradenton awarded us a grant to purchase Stride Academy. This is an online educational tool that we will use with our tutoring and educational enhancement programs in the clubs. Rotary volunteers have painted countless walls in our Bradenton Club to help refurbish that facility. And giving of their time yet again for vocational service, Rotary Club volunteers have met with teens from our Boys and Girls Clubs and shared their career paths, insights into their career decisions, and advice on further education. The four-way test of Rotary is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? This group of Rotarians has truly taken the four-way test seriously in all they've done in Manatee County for the Boys and Girls Clubs and many other deserving organizations.
So thank you, Rotary Club of Bradenton.
The Community Spirit Award for 2014 is presented to the Rotary Club of Bradenton. Accepting for the Rotary Club is their president, Cheryl Halby.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Boys and Girls Club for nominating us this year, and thank you to the Manatee Community Foundation for giving this award. We're very proud to accept the award. We work very hard for the community. We love what we do. We have a lot of fun. We get a lot of personal reward for it. Our club has been in existence since 1926. And we are small but mighty. We also would like to give recognition today to the Rotarians that are outside our Rotary Club of Bradenton, because without each other, we couldn't do the work that we do. We help each other out, we partner, we match dollars, and so we would like to recognize at this time all the Rotarians in the room. If you would please just stand for a moment so that we can see that we are woven through the community. Please stand. Thank you to all you do.
Next is our Corporate Community Spirit Award. Our honoree is nominated by Manatee Glens. Let's see what they have to say.
Hello, I'm Mary Ruiz, President and CEO of Manatee Glens, the leading specialty hospital and outpatient practice for mental health and addictions in our area. I am so pleased to present our nominee for the Community Spirit Award. CS&L CPAs is one of the outstanding full-service public accounting firms serving Sarasota and Manatee. But I'm here today because of what they do beyond their excellent auditing, accounting, and consulting work. This group of dedicated professionals is thoroughly committed to improving the lives of the people of this community. CS&L has been one of our most faithful corporate partners, contributing substantial cash and services each year. Yet they go well beyond making financial donations. They truly have a personal investment and a commitment to the charities they support. They sponsor dedicated teams each year in our Walk for Life fundraiser. While they have fun at the event, they take seriously the message of depression awareness and suicide prevention. Their efforts put them at the top of our fundraising teams. We're also grateful that CSNL used some of its valuable marketing budget to promote the nonprofits they support. One of their team members sported a Manatee Glens Walk for Life shirt in a print ad campaign. Thank you, CSNL. Manatee Glens is just one of the many nonprofits that CSNL supports. Here's what Goodwill Minnesota has to say.
Best company to work for, generous, caring, engaged throughout the community. That is CSNL. Their employees support numerous nonprofits with their time, expertise, and financial support. Bob Stenell and Jay Clarkson are strong Goodwill ambassadors, and we have been honored to have them as lead sponsors for the past 3 years. CSNL exemplifies the best of corporate America, and they are the perfect recipients of the Spirit of Manatee Award.
Team Corporate Community Spirit Award is presented to CSNL CPAs. Accepting for CSNL is Jay Clarkson.
Wow, that is really humbling. Thank you, Mary, for nominating our firm. And I should give special thanks to Bob Christopher, because this doesn't seem that unusual to us. For those of us that started a long time ago, Bob Christopher has always set that tone. We've always had that as something that's actually supported for us at work, where we have the ability to volunteer. We're very excited about this award. I'm actually blown away by the video. I had nice things to say, and I'm just impressed. Thank you very much for the award, and we will continue to do volunteer work. And Veronica, next time, I would like my commercial to have a trimmer look when I go out. Thank you very much.
Next up is our Volunteer Spirit Award. This award is presented to an individual or couple volunteer fundraisers who demonstrate exceptional leadership skills in coordinating, recruiting, and motivating others to make financial contributions, contributes his or her time towards the success of fundraising events, directly contributes his or her own financial support, and by example encourages others to assume roles of responsibility in the charitable community. The 2014 Volunteer Spirit Honoree is nominated by the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton. Let's see what they've got to say.
If you know anything about servant leadership, you know a lot about Sharon Barhorst. She uses her talents and knowledge to inspire others to give back to this community and supporting those less fortunate. She always takes on the task no one else wants to do. After defining the work that needs to be done and then allowing her volunteers to choose their duties, she takes on the tasks that are left. Sharon has the knack of taking a really good idea and building on it. Once the task is fully complete, she humbly passes accolades that she receives to others. In fact, I expect she is squirming right now. For 3 years, Sharon has been chairing Christmas in August, a new Kiwanis initiative to prepare homeless school-aged children for back to school with health checks, clothing, shoes, backpacks, and more. In 2013, inspiration struck, and Sharon created the Kiwanis Cornhole Classic, whose funding supports the Christmas in August program. Over 30 businesses signed up as sponsors, as did 128 teams of beanbag tossers. All of this fun had a serious purpose: to help 400 homeless children and their families start school just like everyone else. In addition to these major Kiwanis projects, Sharon does her own independent volunteer work. She can frequently be found mentoring or reading during her lunch hour with a local elementary school student. She continues to volunteer with Big Brothers Big Sisters and has served as United Way's liaison for the property appraiser's office where she works. The Bradenton Kiwanis is pleased to be part of this recognition for one of our most respected members. We are honored that Sharon chose our club as the conduit for her charitable work and believe she is another great example of the volunteer spirit of Manatee.
It's a privilege to present the 2014 Volunteer Spirit Award to Sharon Barhorst.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank the Manatee Community Foundation for the honor of receiving the Volunteer Spirit Award. I am truly humbled by receiving this special award today. I am so blessed to have my mother, my father, and my husband here with me today because they are always there whenever I volunteer to do something. They're there to help me. I'd also like to thank the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton, also known as the New Bradenton Kiwanis, and especially Tom Mosley for coming up with the vision of Christmas in August. If it hadn't been for him and the organization that we put together and working with the school districts, we never would have been able to serve the over 400 children that we do at Christmas in August. It's truly an amazing event. We have over 114 volunteers, over 40 nonprofits that actually help us out that day. In fact, I think there's many of you that are volunteers that are part of Christmas in August. And at this point in time, I'd like you to stand and be recognized for your time, talent, and treasures as being a volunteer of Christmas in August and part of the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton. Would you all please rise for me? Those of you that are out there, I know there's hundreds of you. Thank you so much.
Next up is the Leadership Spirit Award. This award is presented to an individual or couple demonstrating an active and ongoing charitable investment in the community, whose spirit of giving encourages and motivates others, and whose direct financial support has impacted one or more charitable institutions within the community. This year's Leadership Spirit honoree is nominated by the South Florida Museum. Please roll the tape.
The suggestion of nominating Jim and Lori Toomey for this award was met with resounding support at the South Florida Museum. I thank Amanda Horn for suggesting the nomination. Jim and Lori are well known in our community for being generous, kind, fun, and modest. We are thrilled to see them get this recognition for their incredible commitment to making this community the best it can be. Your program contains information about the diversity of Jim and Lori's involvements. They work to help solve many problems at the community level, and there is no doubt they're making a huge impact, all while being loving parents to their daughter, Kristen. Their commitment to public education is one of the areas where we work together. One example is the teacher training program that they support at the museum. Jim has taken groups of science teachers to the Badlands of Nebraska each of the past few summers to gain firsthand knowledge of paleontology and the opportunity to actually do science. This experience helps them be better teachers and creates a lasting legacy in this community and beyond. The Toomey Foundation for Natural Sciences supports scientific research. Jim is credited with discovering new species in fossil form and has co-authored several scientific publications. To illustrate Jim's commitment to making things happen, one of his fellow researchers shared a story about Jim's involvement in collecting live moss specimens at a Guantanamo Bay, Cuba field site. "I sat on the sidelines for a bit," he said, "and watched Jim Toomey run up and down the fields with his butterfly net, swatting at moths in the dark. For those of us who know Jim, that has to bring a smile to your face." Jim and Lori embody the spirit of Manatee. They have a vision for the community, are passionate about their causes, and compassionate toward others. They fully participate and have the courage to pursue what's important, setting a great example for the rest of us to follow. Thank you, Jim and Lori.
It's a great pleasure to present the 2014 Leadership Spirit Award recipients, Jim and Laura Toomey.
Thank you for the honor of receiving this award. For those of you who know us, we're not big on speeches. We like to be in the background most of the time. I'd like to thank the South Florida Museum for the nomination. We'd also like to thank all the organizations that have put up with us for all these years. It's been a great time for us to help everybody out in any way we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final award tonight is the Lifetime Spirit Award. This award is presented to an individual or couple demonstrating a lifetime record of exceptional generosity in the community, whose direct financial support exemplifies outstanding charitable and civic responsibility that has significantly advanced the mission of several charitable institutions within the community, and whose leadership and example encourages and motivates others toward greater roles in philanthropy. The Lifetime Spirit Award honorees are nominated by Easter Seals of Southwest Florida, United Way of Manatee County, and Salvation Army Manatee Corps. Let's see what they have to say.
One of the joys of leading a nonprofit is that you meet some very fine people, many of whom seek no credit for their good deeds. This is certainly true of Mel and Kathy Griffin. They lead others quietly by example, and the results of their contributions permeate our community. Easter Seals is just one of many nonprofit organizations enriched by knowing the Griffins. Their investment in the lives of people with developmental disabilities has been considerable. Mel and Kathy certainly have given much in the way of resources. Their hearts are in the big things and the small things. They pay attention to the big projects that encourage nonprofits to greater heights. And they pay attention to the small things, like buying gifts for children at the holidays. Easter Seals Southwest Florida congratulates Mel and Kathy Griffin on their Lifetime Spirit Award. We thank you both for all that you do.
The Salvation Army is blessed by the longtime participation of Mel Griffin on our advisory board. Mel's years of experience in the corporate world bring rich wisdom to our meetings and discussions. We call him our fiscal watchdog. The gifts given to the Salvation Army by Mel and Kathy have helped feed, clothe, and shelter children and adults who would otherwise have nowhere else to go. We know that Mel and Kathy seek no recognition for their good works. This is why it brings us joy to recognize them now. The Salvation Army congratulates Mel and Kathy for receiving this much-deserved award.
For decades, Mel and Kathy Griffin have been strong financial and volunteer contributors to United Way of Manatee County. Mel even joined the board in 2000, serving for 2 consecutive 3-year terms. And in 2006, he joined the United Way Foundation as a trustee, where he was able to provide leadership and guidance regarding future investments and goals. In addition to being significant financial contributors over many years as Tocqueville Society members, in March 2013, the Griffins made another gift of $85,000 issued as a matching grant to challenge the community to increase its donation to the United Way. All of these contributions, both financial and intellectual, have helped children achieve their potential through education, assisted families and individuals become financially stable and independent, as well as support the health of the community itself. Their creativity and deep commitment are unparalleled, and our community is fortunate to count them amongst our community leaders. Thank you, Mel and Kathy.
Congratulations, Mel and Kathy Griffin.
Blessings to you.
Thank you for living united.
It is truly a great privilege to present Manatee Community Foundation's Lifetime Spirit Award to Mel and Kathy Griffin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to see you all here. I had no idea we were coming to an affair of this nature. I didn't have much of an idea I would have to say anything. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for extending such a warm and helpful and heartfelt greeting and welcome to us.
Thank you very much. We're very appreciative of this award.
What an awe-inspiring group of honorees. Thank you. It is truly the charitable nature of our citizens that makes our community great. And we appreciate this opportunity and applaud and recognize Manatee County's finest as represented here today. Those of us associated with the Manatee Community Foundation would encourage you to explore your charitable goals so that one day you can leave a legacy and help build a better community. Allow MCF to help you achieve those goals. I'd like to thank once again all of our sponsors, our premier sponsor, the Bassett, Vita, Vining, Herman, and Denton Group at Morgan Stanley. Our MC extraordinaire, Mr. Ed Childs. Thank you. The Executive Director of Manatee Community Foundation, Marilyn Howard. Thank you, Marilyn. Wonderful job. The Manatee Community Foundation staff, Cassandra Holmes, Joan McCall, couldn't happen without you. Great job. Thank you. And the Manatee Community Foundation Board of Directors. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you next year. And that's our show, folks.